You know what, I'm going to say something first, which is I know everybody is mourning Joan's loss, but you're looking at the happiest person in the world, because she used to say goodbye to me June 1st, and I would hear from her again September 1st. And now I get calls from her 3 times a week. It's really quite miraculous. And she indeed has always allowed me to say truly, my best friend is a social worker. I'm a psychologist, so this is necessary. And when I first met Joan, we were on our way to Jamaica. And the pilot said, we were flying over Cuba, and this lunatic next to me starts jumping up and down screaming, Venceremos, Venceremos.
That would have been me.
But then they gave us the debarkation cards. And Joan was a second-year social work student. And we had what is our first of 4 million arguments, because she wrote on her debarkation card was that she was a psychotherapist. And I said to Joan, anybody who knows what a psychotherapist is going to ask you, are you a psychologist, a social worker, or a psychiatrist? And anyone who doesn't would be much more impressed knowing you were a social worker. But I'm happy to announce that Joan truly grew into her identity as a social worker, and indeed has become the maven of social work and a real model for social work education, for social work training. And I think somebody who has made a major contribution to her field, and I know will be missed by everybody all over the place. But as I said, as one of her friends, I welcome you back to life.
So, of course, I have to have the last word, as always. And first, I just want to thank you all for being here. It's so fantastic to see you from Baltimore and from Illinois and from New York and from Boston and from Connecticut, and it's no, Illinois right now.
From Canada.
Canada. That's right. I left out Canada.
California.
Atlanta.
Oh my God! Yeah, California and Atlanta. Oh, sorry, everybody. And DC. And I guess I left out a few. So, I just want to say, hearing what you say is very moving. But I have to say, there is not a person in this room who hasn't helped me, pushed me, really, taught me, stretched me, struggled with me, and forced me to go beyond my comfort zone, beyond my knowledge, and certainly beyond what I thought were my skills. So I begin with you, Lou, my struggler in chief, my soulmate. You helped me become a writer. Early in our marriage, I thought, when Lou finishes the next paper, he'll have time for me. So I just have to wait till he finishes that paper. Hundreds of papers later, I realized he was never going to finish the next paper. And if I wanted any time with Lou, I was going to just have to join him. So I started writing. And I want to thank you because you made me the academic I became and the parent too. So in this room are my 2 best friends and one of my oldest friends, Wendy, who we like to say I met in utero. Wendy always jokes that utero is not a state or a country, but our mothers were pregnant together. And so, and our fathers, as Wendy said, went to high school and to elementary school together. So Wendy started her academic career exactly the same year that I started mine, and she ended hers. She retired on May 31st of this year, as I did. So, over 67 years, we have laughed hysterically as children, shared endless angst as children, as adolescents, as adults, talked almost daily, not in the summer, I admit, as we juggled parenthood and careers, endlessly talking about which one we could quit. And then many thanks go to my dear friend, Dr. Jane, my co-parent, who when I was 26, forced me to get my doctorate, thank God, helped me to refine my topic, which was on women's friendships, no less, and who became what we call our psychoanalytic nanny. One Smith summer, when my sister was very gravely ill, Jane came to help, caring for my children, hosting a doctoral party, which I was insane enough to give, and then the next day teaching my classes. So a very concrete doctoral student then asked me, after Jane had finished teaching, whether all my nannies were psychoanalytically. So Jane coached me throughout the last 36 years at Smith and has always reminded me that at the end of the day, I do not have one political bone in my body, which is to say, I have a big mouth and I use it. And Jane tried to control me, but she couldn't. So what of all of you in this room, so many of you who've been my students, oh my God, EJ and Lisa and Olivia and Joe and Nicole and Bill and Rose and Ellen and Rachel and Amber and Christy and Chris and David and Gail and Judy and Catherine. Did I leave anybody out? I hope not. Anyway, all of you taught me so much about teaching and so much about relational learning. You laughed at my jokes. You took me down avenues I never would have gone. Places like studying Palestinian students, or alcoholism and attachment, or gay men who bully, or Orthodox women who are abused, or transgendered Latina women, just to name a few of your topics. And then you taught me how to deal with student resistances. I mean, I'm not that great at student resistances. And you taught me how to deal with conflict in the classroom and how to deal with microaggressions, both real and imagined. So those of you who had me as a teacher before track changes came into being know that if I read your paper, it would be smeared with chocolate and coffee as a sign of love. So those who came after with track changes never got to see the love. But really, I loved you all, and I was eating
I
chocolate.
think maple syrup sometimes.
Sometimes, that's right. There was some sticky papers, that's true. Anyway, so many of the people in this room I was blessed to hire as adjuncts, and so many people in this room are lifelong friends. So there are some of you I've known over 30 years, Martha and Andrea and Louise and Laura and Pat, who again and again teach me about deep respect for students, for mining their strengths, for anti-racism training long before it was fashionable, for integrating psychodynamic theory with multicultural theories, and you'll never know how deeply I appreciate that. Some of you are supervisors who laughed with me as we have navigated some pretty swampy lowlands, usually finding our way out. Thanks to you, Phyllis, Dan, Chris, Louise, Laura. Some of you in this room are my co-authors, Laura, Pat, David, Teresa, and again, you pushed me to outer edges on gender, on race, on homeless women, all kinds of issues, and fought with me, really fought with me about what should be included and excluded. And ultimately, I think we co-created work that is so much stronger than what any of us ever could have done alone. You've been phenomenal colleagues, and I thank you so much. So again, now I am so lucky to count all of you as my friends who have been there when medical crises emerged, when political issues seemed insurmountable, when the poles between work life and home life seemed irreparable. You provided love and support and kindness and generosity beyond what I deserved. So I thank you all tonight, and for the rest of my life, look forward to our continuing bonds as we journey together outside of the Great Court gates. Remember, I am not retiring. I am only leaving Smith, and so I expect and hope to hear from you, laugh with you, write with you, work with you, learn from you for the rest of my life. So my gratitude, there's so much pleasure in all the work we've done together.